All right, let's settle this once and for all. It's probably the biggest debate you'll hear in any gym anywhere in the world. The old school classic barbell bench press versus the modern, sleek machine press. For years, people have sworn by one or the other, but today, we're cutting through all that gym bro science and getting right to the facts.
So, what's it going to be? In one corner, you've got the heavyweight champion, the OG of chest day, the barbell bench press, the gold standard for raw strength. And in the other corner, you have the challenger, the machine chest press, all about controlled, focused muscle isolation. Which one is actually going to get you the chest growth you're working for? Let's find out.
Okay, here's how we're going to break down this epic showdown. We'll go round by round, starting with the basic mechanics, then diving into the muscle activation data. After that, we'll look at the big one, long-term growth, and then cover all the other deciding factors so you can build your absolute best program.
First up, round one, the biomechanics. How do these two exercises actually work? How are they fundamentally different in the way they challenge your body? Because this is really where the whole argument starts.
Okay, so here's the fundamental trade-off. A barbell press, it's like trying to fly a stunt plane. You're not just pushing forward, you're also the pilot, constantly steering, stabilizing, and correcting in 3 dimensions. That takes a ton of coordination and it taxes your whole body. The machine, though, that's like being on autopilot. The machine does all the stabilizing for you, which means you can pour every single ounce of your energy directly into your pecs.
And this really highlights what we could call the stability paradox. All that shaking and stabilizing you have to do with a barbell is fantastic for building total body strength and coordination. But, and this is a big but, that same need to stabilize can actually steal some of the maximum force your chest can produce. The machine just strips all of that away, letting you go for pure, pinpoint isolation.
All right, let's move on to round 2, muscle activation. What actually happens when scientists strap electrodes to people's muscles to see which ones are firing the hardest? This is where we get to look at the raw, unfiltered data.
So, when we look at the main meaty part of the chest, the part most people want to grow, the science is pretty clear. As long as you're pushing with high effort, both the barbell and the machine absolutely light that muscle up. A lot of studies find there's really no significant difference. But that is definitely not the whole story.
Now check this out. This is a genuine shocker from a 2023 study that completely flipped a lot of old-school thinking on its head. When people used a machine press with a neutral grip, so palms facing each other, they actually got more muscle activation in their upper chest than with a traditional flat barbell press. Think about that. It means you don't necessarily need an incline to hammer those upper pec fibers.
Okay, round 3. This is the million-dollar question, right? Activation is cool, but does it actually lead to more muscle growth in the long run? For that, we need to look at the heavyweight evidence, the big studies.
And to get the most reliable answer, researchers didn't just do one small study. They did what's called a meta-analysis, which is like the Super Bowl of research. They pooled together the data from 13 different studies with over 1,000 participants in total. This is pretty much the gold standard for scientific proof.
And the final verdict was crystal clear. When you match the effort and the volume, meaning people are working just as hard on both exercises, there is no significant difference in muscle growth between free weights and machines.
That's right. When it comes to the main event, pure muscle growth, it's a draw. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. Don't go anywhere, because if growth is a tie, then we have to look at the tiebreakers, the other factors that can seriously make or break your progress in the real world.
So, if the growth potential is the same, what really separates these two? Well, now we have to dig a little deeper. We're going to look at things like the quality of the stretch, how much they wipe you out, and of course, safety.
Okay, you need to know about this. It's called stretch-mediated hypertrophy, and it is a huge deal in muscle science right now. The simple version is this. Think of your muscle like a rubber band. More and more research shows that when you load that muscle in its most stretched out position, it sends an incredibly powerful signal to grow back bigger and stronger.
And this is where machines have a secret weapon. With a barbell, your range of motion ends when the bar hits your chest. That's it. It can't go any further. But on a good machine, you can often go deeper, getting a much greater stretch in your pecs at the bottom. This could mean you're tapping into more of that powerful growth signal.
Let's talk about bang for your buck, or what we call the stimulus to fatigue ratio. The barbell gives you a great stimulus, no doubt, but because you have to stabilize it, it creates a ton of fatigue for your whole body and nervous system. The machine also gives you a great stimulus, but it's more like a surgical strike on the chest, with way less of that system-wide exhaustion. This means you might be able to handle more work and recover faster.
And then there's just real life, you know? Training to failure is an amazing way to trigger growth, but getting stuck under a heavy barbell when you're alone is terrifying. On a machine, it's completely safe. Want to do drop sets? Just move a pin. You don't have to strip a bunch of plates. And for anyone with cranky shoulders, the different grip options on a machine can be an absolute game changer.
Okay, the judges' scorecards are in. We've looked at all the evidence. So now, for the final bell, how do you take all this science and actually use it to build your perfect chest workout?
So who's the winner? Honestly, the winner depends on your primary goal. If you're a powerlifter and your goal is to lift the absolute most weight possible, it has to be the barbell. That's the principle of specificity. You have to practice the main event. But if your number one goal is just building the most muscle possible, the machine might actually get the slight edge because of that deep stretch, the isolation, and the ability to train to failure safely.
But here's the real pro-level takeaway from all this. Why on earth would you choose one champion when you could have a dream team? The smartest approach isn't about picking one over the other. It's about using the unique strengths of both.
So here it is, your ultimate game plan for chest day. You start your workout with the barbell bench press. Go heavy, focus on getting stronger over time, and build that raw foundational power while you're fresh. Then you move to the machine press. This is your finisher. This is where you chase the pump, add more high-quality volume, and really focus on getting that deep, muscle-building stretch, all without having to worry about getting stuck under a bar.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. Maybe we've all been asking the wrong question for years. Maybe it was never about bench press versus machine press. Maybe the real secret is bench press and machine press, working together to create a result that's way better than either one could achieve on its own.
And there you have it. The science is spoken. If this explainer helped you come up with a new game plan for your next chest day, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. And hey, for more science-backed guides just like this one to help you build your best body, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.